Hello, people. Um, Today I just wanted to quickly get onto the topic of how do you not feel lost in life. And it's just a quick video. I don't have anything prepared. I'm just gonna be talking. I already made a video this morning about like what's the point of working hard, but I was fairly tired in that video, but I got some coffee in and I'm feeling pretty good right now. So I'm just gonna quickly make a video because I feel lost myself right now, and I just want to quickly find some certainty by talking about it, and hopefully some people might can offer me some advice as well in this topic on this topic. So I'm going on a run later for the first time in like 2 weeks. I feel a bit nervous that I'm gonna not make it, but anyways, I just wanted to include that into the video because I wanted to like record it. It's like okay, I'm not being clear at all right now. So I wanted to include me running as a thing into this video because I wanted to like I had the idea of making a video of documenting like okay, I went on a run today and I went on a run tomorrow and I went on a run again. So I wanted to document it onto this channel, to that the fact that I went on a run every single day, and I want to see how long I can go with that. And today's day one. But anyways, that's not the main point of this video. Main point of this video is talking about feeling lost in life. And so when you're first starting out in life, you always have a structure. Your parents kind of determine everything that you do in your life. For example, going to school, what you're gonna do. Like, we're gonna go meet your relatives today. We're gonna do this today. I'm gonna give you a extracurricular activity today. And everything's kind of planned by your parents, so you don't really have to take initiative over your own life. But then school comes, and then your life is more involved in school, and now the structure is being determined by school. And school does this thing where it determines your life. It gives you a timetable. It tells you what to learn. It tells you what to do, when to eat, when to rest, and everything is determined by this. So you don't have to take an ounce of initiative for yourself. You don't have to organize anything for yourself. Your time is completely controlled by this school. And that happens over 12 years, all the way from primary first to six, and then secondary first to sixth form, and then your life happens as a structure, and you're almost completely used to the fact that somebody else or an organization above you, an authority with power, is giving you all of these instructions and on how to live your life, so you don't have to really think for yourself, how am I supposed to be disciplined? Because you have to go to school. You paid for this school. Your parents need you to go to school. You have to go to school for a future. So you go to school every single day, and then you have a life that is structured. And I'm gonna pause a bit to collect my thoughts for what I'm gonna say next. And so after school, you have university. So after high school and primary school, you have university. And in this university phase, you sort of start to get more freedom. You start to have more freedom. There's less structure. They have a timetable for you, but the timetable is looser and more flexible, and the rest of the time that you have is for yourself, and you plan all of that time for yourself. And you're starting to learn how to become an adult because now there's less of that school factoring in, controlling your life, and now it's more of you. They're slowly transitioning into you controlling over your life. And most people don't have a problem over this because people have the weekends to plan for anyways, and people would like to have their own time to plan for, and they basically want to live their own life rather than having their life structured by somebody else. But for people like me who don't know how to structure their lives, suddenly it becomes really hard to discipline themselves. It becomes very hard to know what to do. And when you start to lose this structure in your life, when you start to lose another authority telling you what to do in your life, you become you become almost lost in your life, and you start to have this existential crisis over like, because you can't comprehend how your life is supposed to go without somebody controlling your life. And I'm not even in university right now. I'm in high school. I'm in sixth form right now, and the reason why I feel lost right now is because I'm in a special case where I have extreme anxiety over going to school, and this is my biggest hurdle, my biggest challenge in my life is going back to school. And I only have 6 months left of school, or actually 4 months left of school, of high school. So I don't really, I could just live the rest of these 4 months by myself without going to school and just study by myself at home. But I always feel like I have to go back to school because I'm used to this. I've been like this for over 12 years, and to suddenly change from having an authority determining how you should live your life to now I have to determine how I'm disciplined. Suddenly you lose the structure and you wake up at 12 a.m. I mean 12 p.m. every day, and you feel very undisciplined and feel like shit all the time. And look, I don't like school, but I have to go back to school. I need it to keep my structure. I need it to keep my life in check. And because of the anxiety that I've been experiencing over the past few months, I wasn't able to go back to school. I wasn't able to adapt, and because I changed schools, I'm having basically daily existential crises because of my anxiety over school, and it's just so strong that I'm feeling it right now, and it's spiking my cortisol. It's absolutely destroying my life. But I need school, and I can't. I'm not going back, and I need the social aspect of school. I need the structure of school. I need the discipline. I need to learn. I need everything that it has to offer for me. I need the brotherhood, the friends, but I can't get any of that because of my anxiety. And sometimes all it takes is a leap of faith, but I can't do that because when I do it, all that I get back is more anxiety, and I can't move forward. But yeah, um, the reason why I'm talking about this, why I'm feeling lost, is because I haven't been to school for several months. Not several months, but like a few months, around 4 months, I guess. And it felt like hell, man. It's been feeling like hell. Sorry, this video turned from a discussion video into a venting kind of video, but the point I want to make is like some people really do need the structure, and when once they lose that structure, they start to feel lost in their lives. And sometimes I think of entrepreneurship as unpredictability and just a completely different phase of your life if you want to take on that path. Because what normally happens is you finish college, which still gives you a degree uh, of organization and structure in your life, like organization from an authority telling you how to manage your time. Of course, you have a lot more time to yourself than in high school, so you get to learn how to be more independent in that regard. But then after university, you graduate and you start looking for jobs. And once you're in a job, they give you your timetable as well. They give you a structure to your life as well. So for the average person, you're sort of like living in a mode of having an authority tell you how to live your life for most of your life. And I guess in that way, you don't really have to worry about feeling lost. But for me, like again, I said like I'm not going to school these days, and it's giving me so much existential crisis. I'm so delicate. My soul is so delicate that um, any sort of disturbance can cause uh, this is imbalance, and the imbalance causes this existential crisis, and every time it doesn't get better, the existence. Okay, I'm gonna stop talking about my own problems and continue the discussion. But damn, it's so easy to slip into venting mode versus discussion mode. This is supposed to be a discussion video. Okay, so let's continue. It's 10 minutes already, but I'm gonna continue talking. So if some people drop out of high school and then trying to do the entrepreneurship, or they finish college and then do entrepreneurship, and that that idea to me, like, because I personally want to do entrepreneurship in the future as well, because that's how you make big buck, and I want to do that in the future. I want to work hard. I want to make good money for the future. And the idea of it also haunts me a bit, because suddenly now you're your own boss, and you're the authority now. You're the guy who gives yourself structure, and because you have to stay accountable for yourself. That's a lot of responsibility. You you Okay, I'm gonna pause a bit to recollect my thoughts. So instead of having your boss tell you your timetable, you have to craft your own very own timetable, and you have to follow it. And the biggest part of it is that there's no one to tell you you have to do your job. There's no one to tell you that you have to follow this timetable. You have to do it yourself, and that's a lot of responsibility. And that part kind of gives me a bit of existential crisis. Not really existential, but sort of a crisis where I'm just feeling like, what if I just run out of motivation and just stop being disciplined? There's no one keeping me accountable. It's just me keeping me accountable, and the consequences that come with that, which is going broke. And if I'm gonna take this path of entrepreneurship, I watch like people like YouTubers. They're also entrepreneurs, right? You can't say that YouTubers aren't entrepreneurs, because they are. Um, and I watched this guy called Noah Anderson, and his life seems so like there's no structure to it, but except for the structure that he gives himself. And I feel like sometimes, like, how do you even set the standard for the structure of your own life? Because sometimes it's just like your your life is, because okay, I'm starting to lose my train of thought, but what I'm trying to say is that you're how do you know what's right for your timetable? How do you optimize it? How do you know that, okay, I gotta do this now and do that now and do, like, you could say like, oh, I want to get in 1 hour of cardio, but do you know if 1 hour is optimized, is optimal for you? Do you know if that 1 hour is too much or too little? Because you planned that 3 days ago, and now you're tired and you can only do 30 minutes. Are you still gonna do 1 hour? Or like, I'm gonna work for 1 hour, but you didn't get your work done, and now you have to take away schedule from working out or meeting someone to finish that work. So like, setting your own timetable is a struggle in that regard. And more than that is like, how do you know that what you're doing right now is productive in the way that will benefit your enterprise? So like, for Noah Anderson, he's a triathlon athlete, and he does running, swimming, biking, workouts, and also resistance training. But that makes up his majority of his day. And once he does that, once he does the workouts and then he goes and edit videos, like, how do you make sure that the productivity that you're doing is actually productive towards your enterprise and not just perceived work? For example, what perceived work might mean is, I did an hour of cardio and I feel productive. Yeah, sure, it was productive for your health, but it's not productive in terms of money making. You didn't make money from that. And and your whole thing as an entrepreneur is to make money, but you focus so much on health. Health is important, but like you can't account that as productivity in terms of making money, because like you can feel productive for a full day because you worked out 3 times a day, but if you didn't do as much of your enterprise work, then was that really a productive day? And so that's what I'm thinking, because um, an authority, or like a school or a workplace, would give you that standard of like, you can you're gonna do this much work, and that work is gonna attribute to money making, and you're gonna do this set amount of work every single day, and you're gonna be able to make this much money. They already set that for you. But as an entrepreneur, you're you're doing this much work, but you don't know how much money that's gonna make you. And sometimes as an entrepreneur, you classify every sort of productivity of work um into you contribute everything into productivity. So like, after work I go to train. That's usually how it works when you're in a workplace. After school I'm gonna go train. After I do my homework I'm gonna go train. So after you finish your main priority of academics or work, then you go and do the productive stuff of training and keeping your health in check and taking care of yourself, or having fun. But like, when you're your own boss, it becomes harder to manage that, because you attribute everything into productivity. So you could be working 8 hours on your enterprise and 1 hour on working on yourself, or you can work 7 hours on yourself and 2 hours on the enterprise, and you'd feel like it's the same amount of productivity. And that's the dangerous part, where it gives you the illusion that you're working very hard, but in actuality you only spend 2 hours on your enterprise. That's the point I wanted to make. So yeah, that's what I wanted to quickly talk about. But if there's nothing more that I want to say, I'll just end it off here. And hopefully, it was a bit insightful, a bit thought provoking for you guys. And please leave your thoughts in the comments about what you see, what you think about entrepreneurship, and whether you would approach that yourself or not. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time.